Narasimha Deva Bhagavan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Hare Krishna, everyone. Can everyone hear me at the back? Yeah. Okay. So, before I speak, I wanted to express my gratitude to ISKCON Waterloo for allowing me to come here today and providing me a place where I can glorify and share some words of wisdom with you all. I wanted to express my gratitude to my very dear friend Vamsi Prabhu for inspiring me to come here, taking me out of my comfort zone. And lastly, all of you for making this event a success. Without you, I would be speaking to walls. So, thank you for coming. As our host rightly mentioned, that we have a special day today. On the altar, if you see, it's Prahlada-Narasimha Deva along with Prahlada Maharaj on the altar from Sri Ramayapur. And we are celebrating his appearance, Narasimha Jayanti or Narasimha Chaturdashi. The actual tithi was on Thursday, as most of you might know. But we gather here Saturday, so maybe it's an opportunity to do one more session in his glorification or hear something about him. Before I start, let's offer some prayers and then we'll get into our discussion. So if you know the prayers, please chant along. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namaha Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deveshatharine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Kam karoti vachalam pangum yate girim yat kripatam hamne Shri Gurum Dinataram Vanandamam Shri Chaitanya Ishvara. So, we are already familiar with our subject. And does anyone know which book is this? Raise your hands if you know what book is this. Yes. Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes. Srimad Bhagavatam, in the Bhagavatam itself, it says, it's a ripened fruit of Vedas. Purananam Arka-uditaha. So the essence of Puranas. So there are Vedas, and then there are Puranas. And out of all the Puranas, it says Puranam Arka-udita. So essence has been derived into this beautiful compilation. And it was spoken by Srila Shukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. Shukadeva Goswami, being a devotee of the Lord, this book has become more nectarian. They compare Shukadeva Goswami with a parrot, Shuka, which literally means parrot, and the fruit of the Vedas like Srimad Bhagavatam. And when a parrot tastes fruit, it becomes more sweet. So today we'll try to read something about Lord Narasimha Deva and discuss some of his pastimes, some of the instructions of Prahlada Maharaj that he will say in this chapter that I'm going to read. So we're going to start with this is Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 7 and chapter 8. In this canto, the Lord has appeared to annihilate or to destroy the demon Hiranyakashipu. Does everyone know the story of Narasimha Deva, Prahlada, how he appeared? Yes? Yes, everyone knows, right? Is anyone here for the first time? I'll raise my hand. Is anyone here for the first time? Yeah, for the first time. Thank you, Prabhu. So, you know pretty much the story, so I'm not going to take a lot of time to discuss what happened, how it unfolded. But what we are going to read is what Shukadeva Goswami had said to Parikshit Maharaj. In this particular chapter, the conversation is between Narada Muni and Yudhishthira Maharaj. These two are having a talk, and there are some questions which were raised by Yudhishthira Maharaj, and Narada Muni is also trying to address them by citing the pastime of Lord Narasimha Deva. Now, if you know, Narada Muni was also the guru of Prahlada Maharaj. He instructed Prahlada Maharaj, so he knows things very well, the entire episode of how it started. Even before Prahlada was born, Indra was trying to kill the baby in the womb, but Narad Muni said, let me take Kayadu. Kayadu? Yes, that's her name. Kayadu. Let me take her to my ashram and I'll try to explain her something. You don't worry. Don't worry about the upcoming demon, because they were so scared of Hiranyakashipu. They said, no more demons. We'll kill the baby in the womb. So Narad Muni started to describe the glories of Lord, the pastimes of Lord, what is soul, what is the religion of a human that's born, may it be demon or a demigod. So all those subjects were heard by Prahlad Maharaj in the womb. And as soon as he came out, he was born devotee. He knew everything. When he was 5 years old, he would go to his school and preach Krishna Bhakti to his friends. So that Narad Muni is trying to explain the same subject to Yudhishthira Maharaj. We are reading a specific verse which is very famous among the discussers of Srimad Bhagavatam, or the one who read and relish Srimad Bhagavatam. It's text 17. For the sake of the time, I'll skip reading or repeating the Sanskrit verse. I'll just quickly say, it says, Satyam vidhatum nijapritya bhasitam vyapratim cha bhuteshva akhileshu chatmana adrishatyad bhuta rupam udvam stambhe sabhyam na mrigam na manusham. Just explains a little bit. If you know Sanskrit, it says something.
Which text is this?
This is Canto 7, Chapter 8, Text 17. And this text carries a very important line. The first line, it says, Satyam vidhatum nijabhritta bhasitam. It means to prove the statement of his servant, Prahlad Maharaj, was substantial. In other words, to prove that the Supreme Lord is present everywhere, even with the pillar of an assembly hall, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, exhibited a wonderful, never before seen, a wonderful form never before seen. The form was neither of a man nor of a lion. Thus the Lord appeared in his wonderful form in the assembly hall. So before this happened, there was a conversation between Prahlad and Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu, his father. Hiranyakashipu was very annoyed with what Prahlad was doing and what Prahlad was talking about. Prahlad said that, my dear father, you should give up your enemy to Vishnu and praise him, sing his glories. And Hiranyakashipu said, my son, you have gone too far. Today you will be killed. But before I do that, I'll give you a chance. Tell me, where is your Lord? Prahlad said, my Lord is everywhere. He is omniscient. He is present everywhere. He said, yes, if that's the case, let me see how he will protect you today. By saying that, got up from his seat with a sword in his hand, and with his fist he punched a pillar. And as soon as he punched, the pillar started to crack, not because of his punch, but because the Lord was appearing from the pillar, and the cracking sound of pillar that was so loud that the demigods in their loka, in Kailasha and Brahma Loka, they got scared that it's time for annihilation. Oh, we haven't lived our life yet, and the sound looks like the world is coming to an end. So Lord appeared within the pillar of the assembly hall, just like us. And the word or the expression used in this verse is Nijabhritta Bhashitam. And Srila Prabhupada and our lot of commenters on this verse, they say that Nijabhritta, Bhritta means servant, Nija means his own. So Lord appeared to prove what his dear servant has said just now. Now, if you analyze the situation, Lord could have come any time to protect Prahlad when they were trying to throw him off the cliff, or when there were elephants trying to crush him, or when he was put in a room with serpents, or when he was put on the pile of fire, or could have come any time to save Prahlad. Right? He saved him, all those incidents. He saved him, but just to prove that what his devotee said, that Lord is present everywhere, the Lord took a very special form, a form that was never seen before. And the exact word is na mrigam, not an animal, na manusham, not human. Now the second, or the other way of understanding this line, Nijabhritta Bhashitam, is there was one more servant of Lord who had spoken something long ago. Tathastu. He said these two words, Tathastu. May it be. Who was that? Lord Brahma. So Brahma and Hiranyakashipu were trying to negotiate a deal, peace deal for the earth. But Hiranyakashipu had a long list of clauses. I cannot be killed by this, I cannot be killed like that, I cannot be destroyed by this. He had a long list. Kept on, and Brahma said Tathastu. So to protect Brahmaji also, Lord took this form as a half man, half lion. So Prabhupada also says in the purport, it says, Konkeha pratijani name bhakta pranashati. This is from Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna says, Arjuna declared that my devotee will never be banished. Yes? And also in Bhagavad Gita, this is Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushita. I'll appear to protect my devotees, to annihilate the miscreants. Dharma sanskar punarthaya. I'll establish the religion. So Krishna spoke this in Bhagavad Gita. Now, so Prabhupada is quoting this line, but a question may arise in our minds if we think deep that Prahlada and Hiranyakashipu and Narasimha Deva, this pastime is happening in Satyug. Right? After Satyug there is Treta. After Treta there is Dwapar. In Dwapar Yuga, at the end of Dwapar Yuga, Shri Krishna will speak the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. So how come Lord is doing that? He will say in future, or he's trying to prove a point that he was trying to prove a point that he will say in millions and millions of years afterwards. So if you remember, it's in the same text, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 1, Krishna says, I gave this knowledge to Vivaswan, sun god, and then Ikshvaku, and then Manu. But over the time, that knowledge was lost. Hence, I'm speaking again to you, Arjuna. So, that Bhagavad Gita is eternal knowledge. It was spoken with a specific situation, of course, but that knowledge is eternal, and Krishna has kept his words even in Satyuga. So, it also stresses the point that when a devotee of Lord, they say something, it carries a credibility. Now, of course, a devotee has to speak what Krishna and his gurus have taught him, and that's what a devotee is called. But our understanding is, whenever a devotee speaks, whenever a pure devotee speaks in the lines of parampara, in the lines of teachings of Sri Krishna, those teachings are very credible, and we should not take those things lightly. That's what Lord is trying to prove. Usually, if you look at the history of the incarnations of Lord appeared as Ram, he appeared as Krishna, he appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and many more incarnations. And when he appears, there are hundreds and thousands of humans getting delivered by his association, or he kills them in hundreds and thousands. But in this instance, the Lord appeared only for one devotee, that was Prahlada. So it's a unique situation, it's a unique form that he has taken. Now, you can see in the picture, or you might have seen in the picture, that how Lord Narasimha Deva looks. But we will try to read it from Srimad Bhagavatam, which explains exactly how Lord was, because Narad Muni was also there when Lord had appeared. So he will describe what he saw from his eyes. Hiranyakashipu studied the form of the Lord, trying to decide who the form of Narasimha Deva standing before him was. The Lord's form was extremely fearsome because of his angry eyes, which resembled molten coal, his shining mane, which expanded the dimension of his fearful face, his deadly teeth, his razor-sharp tongue, which moved like a dueling sword. His ears were erect and motionless, his nostrils and gaping mouth appeared like the caves of a mountain. His jaws parted fearfully, and his entire body touched the sky. His neck was very short, thick, his chest broad, his waist thin, the hairs of his body as white as the rays of the moon. His arms, which resembled flanks of soldiers, spread in all directions as he killed the demons, rooks and atheists, with his conch shell, disc, club, lotus, and other weapons. So this is a very beautiful description. It says that his tongue was moving like swords, can you imagine? And he was touching sky. The reason, or the good thing about reading from scriptures is, sometimes we try to interpret things the way appear in front of us. Sometimes we watch movies and cartoons and a lot of other things in our life, and we try to create an image based on our understanding, what we have heard, what we have seen, or what we have been told. But hearing and reading from Srimad Bhagavatam of books like this will actually enlighten us on the reality. It's like a fact check, right? So that's why I chose to, read from a book than speak something of my own. And seeing that form, Hiranyakashipu was terrified. He was terrified internally. But at the same time, he wanted to give a best fight to the Lord. Now looking back at the history, we know that Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaks's two brothers were originally Jay and Vijay. They had appeared again and again to give pleasure to Lord. Because when Lord wants to fight, he needs someone who can match him. And he doesn't want to fight with someone who is not of his caliber. So these associates were kind of, they had some level of fighting, and Lord gave them enough strength to fight. And when they were fighting, sometimes the Hiranyakashipu would go high in the sky and fall like a star or meteor, trying to give a good fight to Lord Narasimha Deva. And sometimes Narasimha Deva would hold him like how a cat holds a mouse in its teeth. Because for a mouse or a rat, cat is death personified. It's Mrityu. So the class of cat and Mrityu. So sometimes Narasimha Deva would hold Hiranyakashipu like death personified. And at times, he would let Hiranyakashipu slip out of his grip just to increase the pleasure of the fight. Here, Narad Muni says that it's like Garuda, sometimes Garuda catches a poisonous snake, and to just play with the prey, they would let loose the prey out of their grip and again catch them. So that scene is getting repeated again and again. So Prabhupada explains very beautifully in the purport that this is how the world has been. Material life, I'll read this is very good. I would better read it. A sinful man who acts against the laws of nature must be punished, but sometimes he is given chance to play, exactly like Hiranyakashipu when he was released from the hands of Narasimha Deva. So this is our life. Sometimes we are given chances. Life gives us chances. Or if you go in the world, there are some billionaires in the world. Some are very beautiful in their features. Some are learned. Some are powerful. Some are influential. And we think that person is something. But what they are getting is a chance. Chance like this. Chance like Hiranyakashipu getting slipped from the grip of death personified. So all these individuals who seem to be very great in different aspects of life, they are getting chances. And when they have that chance, and they act within that time, they will be saved. If not, they will be slain like how Hiranyakashipu was slain. And then Lord Narasimha Deva eventually holds Hiranyakashipu very tight in his hands. Now, Narasimha Deva had many hands. If you read these texts, it says Narasimha Deva was born with many hands. So many that Narad Muni didn't count. There are so many hands. And Narasimha Deva places Hiranyakashipu on his lap, tears apart his abdomen, takes his intestines out, puts around his neck like a garland. He drinks the blood, takes the heart of Hiranyakashipu and throws him aside. Yes, this is scary. That's how Lord delivered Hiranyakashipu. After the deliverance, his army came forward, and with his unlimited hands, the Lord is handling the entire army by himself. And when the army is finished, he's still angry. So much so, because he had come with a reason. He was angry with Hiranyakashipu, who was trying to harm his dear servant, his dear devotee. And after finishing the task, the Lord was still angry. Now, this anger is different than what we feel. Oh, there's so much salt in the sabji. How can you not clean the house? How come you don't give me enough money to buy clothes? Our anger is a result of more of passion. Rajogun. We are influenced by the nature, hence we act according to that particular mode and the situation. But this anger is transcendental. So Prabhupada also explains this in one of the purports that it's not that Lord Narasimha Deva was influenced by the situation, but he was angry or he wanted to display a form of the Lord. So in future, if anyone tries to harm any devotee, try to suppress any of his servants, then Lord will appear. Lord appears and again, yes, he says, Sambhavami Yuge, he will keep appearing. So he appeared as Narasimha Deva, but if something happens again, the Lord will again appear to protect his devotee. Now, when Lord had almost completed the task of annihilating the miscreants, the demons, he was still angry. All the demigods, Shiva, Brahma, the Gandharvas, the Vidyadharas, they were showering lotus petals from the sky, and they were offering prayers from the sky in the glorification of Lord Narasimha Deva. And it's a ritual that everyone would come and worship the incarnation. Right? When Lord has incarnated, it's a custom that all the demigods, all the rishis, all the munis, they would appear and they would glorify the Supreme Lord. But in this case, they were offering some prayers, but at a distance. And they thought let's go in front of him. And they saw that because of his anger and because of his nature and his form, it was not easy to go near to him. So they asked Lakshmi ji, the goddess of fortune, to go closer to Lord and pacify him, ask him to calm down. The task has been completed. Lord, we can take a chill, relax, because it's a ferocious form, right? What they are witnessing. First thing, nobody has ever seen it. The second thing is the Lord is still angry, so no one wants to be the next Hiranyakashipu. Yes, they're maintaining their safe distance. And Lakshmi agrees. Initially, she agrees, and she goes and she's walking towards the Lord, and she says, "This is not my husband. He's somebody else. I cannot do this." So Brahmaji, he approaches Prahlad, little Prahlad, and he tells him, "Prahlad, you are the reason of all this. Please go to your Lord and try to pacify him, try to get him normally so we can come forward." And Prahlad, being innocent from the heart, he agrees. He goes, he pays his obeisances on the floor, and Lord Narasimha Deva sees him. And Lord Narasimha Deva pats him, touches his head. And with the touch of Lord, Prahlad Maharaj is enlightened. Not that he wasn't enlightened before, but now he has become transcendental with the touch of the Lord. And he gets up and he starts to glorify the Lord. Now, you see the rest of the creation, 330 million demigods, they're standing on the corner of a room, headed by Shiva, Brahma, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, and Lakshmi ji. And there's a little boy, Prahlad, who's standing right next to Lord Narasimha Deva. So you can imagine he's like on spotlight, right? Prahlad Maharaj has been put on spotlight. It's time for him to shine, show some moves, but instead, Prahlad Maharaj, he says, I will read the translation. So, Prahlad Maharaj prayed, "How it's possible for me, who have been born in the family of Asuras, to offer suitable prayers to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Even until now, all the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma and other saintly persons, could not satisfy the Lord by the streams of excellent words. Although such persons are very qualified, being in the mode of goodness, then what is to be said of me? I am not qualified at all." This is Prahlad. He is expressing his heart or his mind by his prayers, saying that I am not qualified. I was born in a family of demons. Though he was born devotee, he has done everything that a pure devotee would do. And now he is standing right next to Lord Narasimha Deva. And Lord has blessed him already. But first thing he says is that, "Lord, I am not qualified." This is how a devotee should be. A devotee should never think that Karta, I am the doer, I did this, I made paneer, I made this, I made 10 devotees, I distributed 200 Bhagavad Gitas, I make 300,000 a year, I drive Porsche, me, mine, no. that is not the nature of a devotee. And Prahlada Maharaj is exemplifying that. So Prabhupada quotes very beautiful words from Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you know this, you would be very happy. Jagai madai haite muni se papishta, purushera kita haite muni se lagishta. This is Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, Acharya in our parampara, sitting on the banks of Radhakund, the holiest of all places, writing the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a book called Chaitanya Charitamrita. And in the beginning, he says, he considers himself unqualified, lower than worms in the stool, and more sinful than Jagai and Madhai. That's how a devotee should be. Humble always. Ready to do any menial service. Not saying that. You don't know me who I am. I've been coming from 10 years. I was the first person who was in this hall when we started the program. How can you tell me to mop the floor? Right? No. That's not a qualification of a devotee. In material world, sometimes it doesn't work for you that, you go to your boss and say, "Mr. Servant, tell me what should I do." He'll give you enough work for the rest of your life. But in the spiritual world, it's the other way around. The more humble you become, the more blessings you receive, or the more knowledge you receive. And there's a famous saying that says, Vidya dadati vinayam. By knowledge, you get humility. If by learning something you become proud, that's not knowledge. That's anti-knowledge, probably. So, knowledge should teach you humility. And then when you're humble, then you are eligible. So first, in our society, usually we are given titles, right? I am president, I am team lead, I am what else, I don't know. I am executive chairman, I am CEO, I am this, I am that. But in our society, the first title you receive is of Das. That's the first thing you receive. You become servant officially. That's how the society welcomes you, that you are Das or Dasi. So, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also explained this with his beautiful writing, Trinadapi Shunichena, Tarorapi Sahisnuna, Amanina Manadena, Kirtani Sadhana. Should be I would say, without humility, there is no way to move forward. And it is not just that in the beginning, right? When you are new, you become humble. No, it's the humility increases as you advance. It is not the opposite, that when you advance, people will come and offer you some respect, pranams, garlands, maybe donations, whatever. But even after receiving that, like what Prahlada Maharaj received, he is saying that there are hundreds and thousands of demigods who are constantly serving you, Lord. They are situated in the mode of goodness, like Lord Brahma. They are more qualified in the knowledge, like Lord Shiva. But how come, I glorify you? I am the most lowly. And Prahlada Maharaj continues, he says, one may possess wealth, aristocratic family, beauty, austerity, education, sensory expertise, luster, influence, physical strength, diligence, intelligence, mystic yogi power. But I think even by all these qualifications, one cannot satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, one can satisfy the Lord simply by devotional service. So Srila Prabhupada explains that the list that Prahlada Maharaj said, beauty, intelligence, knowledge, aristocratic family, and whatnot, these are like zeros. Zeros have value, not independently, but with a number. So that number is your devotional life. So these values, you might be beautiful, you might be strong, you might be charismatic, you might be born in a family of kings. They have no value until you utilize them in the service of Krishna. It is like having unlimited number of zeros that have no value. Unless we add Shri Krishna in our life, which is like 1 or 2 or 10 or 9, whatever. And moving ahead, Prahlada Maharaj also says that how a devotee might have 12 different characteristics of a Brahmana, but if he is devoid of devotional service, that means he does not serve the Lord, they are of no use. And whereas there is a devotee who is humble and menial and trying to serve the Lord and does not possess any of the qualities, he is worshipable. Now, I don't have a lot of time today, but this is one of the last words that I will speak today and try to finish. So towards the end, Prahlada Maharaj is speaking some beautiful prayers. What I would encourage all of you is, how many of you have Srimad Bhagavatam at home? Srimad Bhagavatam? So I would say 50%, maybe 40%. So the first thing you should do is get this book. This is gonna change your life forever. Why? Because it teaches us how to be a devotee. It's a manual for a devotee. Srimad Bhagavatam is a life of devotees. You will hear unlimited stories in there, and each story teaches you a beautiful lesson of life, how to improve in life, how to serve the Lord better, how to be a good family man, and how to be a great devotee. So we are running a Bhadra campaign. I think Vamsi Prabhu will definitely tell you. Our goal is to have or share this knowledge all across the world. It's called Bhadramte, Bhadra Purnima, and our goal is to distribute 100,008 Srimad Bhagavatams. That's our goal. What you can do is be part of this campaign and receive this beautiful book at your home, so you can teach your family, your generations on how to live a human life. So please get this book. I'm sure there will be lots of support from ISKCON Waterloo's management. You can get books delivered if you need, maybe some monthly installments. If you cannot afford it, it usually costs $350. It's $350. It's a 12-volume book with all the original text and translation, pictures, purports. So please get this book without delay. Now, towards the end, Prahlada Maharaj is understanding what Lord Narasimha Deva will offer him. Lord Narasimha Deva will tell him that Prahlad, ask any boon. Right? Tell me what you want and I'll give you. And Prahlad Maharaj, even before the Lord offers him that option, he expressed his internal desire to Lord, saying, "My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, because of my association with material desires, one after another, I was gradually falling into blind well full of snakes, following the general populace. But your servant Narad Muni kindly accepted me as his disciple and instructed me how to achieve this transcendental position. Therefore, my duty is to serve him. How could I leave his service?" This also expresses a very beautiful mood or internal desire of Prahlada Maharaj. He's saying that though he was born devotee, we just talked about from the day he was born, he was chanting Krishna's name, he was spreading Krishna's message. He was a born devotee, but he says, gradually I was falling in the well of snakes. And your servant Narad Muni, he blessed me with the transcendental vision, and my duty is to serve him first. This is also an important lesson for us. In the Sikh tradition, there is a very nice saying. Is anyone from Punjab background? Punjabi or Sikh or Northern India? So they say, Guru Gobind dono khade kako lagu paye. Balihari us Guru ko is Govind diya. So our first service is to the Guru, who has introduced Govind or Krishna to us. In our life, we might be put into situations where we have an option to serve the Lord directly. Another option would be to serve His servants. To serve the devotees of the Lord is more important than serving the Lord Himself. That's what Prahlada Maharaj is saying or is trying to teach us today. So the key essence that we learned today is how a devotee should be always humble, menial, try to engage in the devotional service of the Lord with the association of His servants, and glorify Him, sing His praise, especially on the days like Narasimha Chaturdashi, when His appearance is. We should try to sing His praise, try to hear His glories, try to read about Him, or try to speak about Him. That's our duty, or that's the best practice recommended by Srimad Bhagavatam. So, with that, I would like to put my words to rest. Do we have time for questions?
We can take one question or two.
Does anyone have any questions? Here.
Krishna, thank you so much for the lecture. Just one question quickly is, was it necessary to kill Hiranyakashipu? Could the God, personality of, Supreme Personality of Godhead give him a chance?
was necessary. That's why Lord did it. That's the basic understanding. The difficult thing is because these two brothers were to be born again. That's why they had to be killed again. Right? They would be born again as in Treta Yuga when Lord Ram would appear. They would be born again as Ravana and Kumbhakarna. And again, when Lord Krishna comes, they would appear. And again, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would come, they would appear. So it was necessary. It was also necessary to teach the lesson to the common that, Kante prati jane name bhakta. I will do everything to protect my devotees. That was the message that Lord wanted to give. One last question. So no questions? Okay, thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Narasimha Deva Bhagavan ki, Prahlada Maharaj ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna.